What's good, Facebook fam? First of all, hold on. Let me change something right quick. Let me change something right quick. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So, what's good, Facebook fam? Welcome to another Monday edition of the Evening Talk. This is your boy Sean. Don't forget, as always, like and share this episode. Also, go to our YouTube page and subscribe. So, tonight we are back. We are back. This time we are going to do some Black history stuff. So what I want y'all to do is grab your popcorn, grab your drink, whatever, and we're going to take a break and we will be right back.
See if I get some
All right. We are back. We are back with my special guest, my college buddy, my band buddy, whatever else.
True that.
What's
True
up,
that. I know it's been a long time since we've been in band.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I think about the old Wall of Sound days, to be honest with you.
I still wear the shirt sometimes.
Guess
In
what?
fact, I'm wearing it now.
I can't find my shirts.
What? No. I have a small collection. Yes, I am that band nerd. I have a collection of band shirts from previous band shows. I'm talking about from high school all the way up to college. Yes, I am that nerd. I have all my Wall of Sound shirts, and they're neatly folded in like a corner somewhere.
Look, I don't have any of my Wall of Sound band shirts. I don't even have the band hat that I bought from the gift store when I graduated in 2017. I don't even have that. I got to go back to East Central and kind of pay the gift shop a visit. Yeah.
Ooh.
I pay them a visit. Well, anyway, welcome back to the show. Welcome back.
Oh, sure thing.
So, as you know, this is our last week of celebrating Black History Month, which actually we're supposed to celebrate it 365 because we are Black 365.
Right. We don't take a break on that.
Right. But we set aside this month to, I guess, to like really celebrate and pay homage to those who have fought, bled, and died for us to have civil rights and the things that we've been fighting for, like livable wages, employment, free education. Well, not so much free education, but you get the idea. So tonight and when I was kind of thinking about what I want to do to close out this portion of Black History Month, I was thinking about, let's talk about the Black National Anthem. But then something dawned on me and said, no. Don't only talk about that. Talk about other things. Talk about why, one, we have historically Black universities.
Oh, absolutely. Believe it or oh, hey, is it okay if I jump in right here?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Did you know you could search the internet and say uh list black friendly schools, just regular public schools? You can find a list of things. It's a list of schools, and people don't even know that we have those schools. Uh, Another thing, it's a bit off topic, but you can go online and search where can I find a black friendly bank or list black friendly banks. And you'll be
Mhm.
surprised the number of black friendly banks and black friendly schools that are out there that are not college HBCUs. It's accessible on the internet, free and open to the public. Some of the things that we've been asking for, we already have it. There
Mhm.
just isn't a lot of light on it. And
Right,
when enough people get enough light on what we got this so far, then you can see the progress.
right.
I remember seeing a YouTube video. It's a bit old now where we're talking about progress, civil rights and progress. And this lady asked her 90 something year old father what if he thought there was any progress made, and he says absolutely. Being
Mhm.
that he's in his 90s, he absolutely saw progress. So even though younger generations don't see the progress, I guarantee you older generations do, and they can tell you from experience how different things are today compared to when they were our age.
Right. And it is
So
true. Like, go ahead, go ahead.
so just take the time and go online and look for black friendly banks, black friendly schools. They don't have to be HBCUs, but there are black friendly schools that elementary children to go to. And no, I'm not pushing segregation. I'm not. What I'm saying is if you go back to the history of HBCUs, like Howard University, and
Yes.
Morehouse, you would
Right.
understand why it was necessary in the first place.
Mhm.
When you have a history in America like the Devil's Punch Bowl, it makes a
Oh.
lot of sense to put up a HBCU. It makes a lot of sense.
Ooh.
No, we're not pushing segregation. It's just some kind of twist and trick of the mind to make someone think that protecting yourself is crazy.
Exactly.
Protecting yourself is not crazy.
Exactly.
Doing
Well,
what's best for yourself is not crazy.
right. When
I'm
you said
sure you're
something,
welcome if you like. We're
right,
not going to discriminate. We're not
right,
going. If you want to go there, you can. There's no
exactly.
one saying that you can't. Just like there's no one saying we can't go to the regular schools. Your typical Ivy Leagues and so on. No one's barring us from going there.
Right.
Not now. I mean, they did before, but they of the past did before. But it's accessible to us. Just like it's accessible for us, it's accessible for anybody that's not of the certain skin hue. We're not going to make a big deal of it, and that's the part that people miss.
Right.
Yes, there are HBCUs. Yes, there are black friendly things, because of that dark history in the past, that second stanza and lift every voice and sing that people miss,
Mhm.
where you're trotting on the stony path, that part. No, I'm not going to go into it. The internet is free. You can look up the full lyrics for Lift Every Voice and Sing, as well as the history. That song has been around since the 1900s. Most
Yeah.
people don't even know that. It is a purely American song. It
Yeah.
came from here, from
Yep.
the people who saw and experienced things here. This
Mhm.
isn't some fairy tale. There are living descendants who can speak on this from experience Just because you don't see it on camera doesn't mean it's not happening. It's
Exactly.
still happening, which is again the reason why these schools happened in the first place, why these banks happened in the first place. Let's just be real. We wouldn't need the birthright citizenship if it wasn't for certain things in the law that made that necessary.
That's true.
I
That's
mean,
true.
not to detour too much, but that's my 2 cents.
No, you good. And matter of fact, I'm glad you brought up that the Devil's Punch Bowl because when I first about the Devil's Punch Bowl, I quickly researched it and I found documentaries of it on YouTube and I started watching it. And when I tell you my mouth just dropped because of how it all happened, why it happened and stuff. And it's funny because they say the late jazz singer, female jazz singer, Billie Holiday, she written a song called The Forbidden Fruit. And it
Correct.
was in
Yes.
relation to the Devil's Punch Bowl. And viewers, for you who do not know what the Devil's Punch Bowl is, please research it. Go online and research it. But I will tell you this much: right now it is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It's located in Natchez, Mississippi. Um,
And don't eat the fruit.
and don't eat the fruit, please, y'all. Don't eat them peaches. Don't eat them. It's called
Everybody who know, you should know there's something strange going on when literally no one eats the fruit in this one orchard.
right.
Something's wrong here. So, and I'm just going to leave you in suspense right there. What's the name of that lake? There is a documentary about this lake. Starts with an L. I want to say Latimer. Lat. It
Uh,
starts with an L. It's a lake, and there was a documentary about it. But basically, there's this lake was put on top of a black town. So for the people who say,
oh,
"Where's the black
okay.
community?" It's underwater, literally. Just
What?
look up the history, like the archives part of your library of your most popular lakes, and just ask, why is it when I go diving under this lake, there's little houses under this lake? There's your
Right.
black community.
I want to say it was
So,
located in Alabama, I believe. Was it in Alabama?
uh, I want to honestly, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to speculate.
Uh-huh.
I can't. It's sad. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't even name the lake. But okay, the internet is free. List. Mm, let me see. Towns underwater. Just say black towns underwater, and you'll find a list of it. And you'll find the names of those lakes, as well as the history. A lot of the descendants have the deeds to these properties. And when they follow the coordinates, it leads them literally to the middle of this lake. And not just this lake, but that lake. It's over 200 to be exact. So, again, why are we pushing black empowerment with Lift Every Voice and Sing and these black schools and these black banks? Because of the Devil's Punch Bowl, because of black towns being underwater.
Hmm.
That's why.
Right.
Oh, and birthright citizenship. That's why.
Exactly.
If it was meant for us to begin with, there will be no need for these amendments. That's just the logical answer for it. It's enshrined in law how to treat us.
Right.
And that is why we are being treated this way. Here's what people don't understand about the psychology of law.
Hmm.
Once a law is put in place, it creates a culture within that generation. And generations after generations will learn this law simply because it's being enforced. And as long as people keep enforcing what is on the books, that's why people treat each other the way they do. It's enshrined in law and it made a culture, and that understanding got passed down from generation to generation. I I know this is going to sound strange, but Alabama actually went through their law books and removed or made amendments to their own law that removed discriminatory practices that were still on the books. Yes, those laws were archaic and you couldn't really enforce it. I mean, you could if you wanted to be petty,
Right.
simply because it's there on the books and nobody did anything to detract it.
Mhm.
But Alabama went through their book discrimination. And so that helped Alabama's image. I'm not sure if the culture has changed. I haven't visited Alabama in a minute. But once that was done, you can go back to Alabama and you can just notice that it's a little different because the laws change, so the culture changed, so the mindset changed, so the lesson changed. And if it continues to progress in this positive trajectory, every generation afterwards will be a little more kind to each other.
Right.
Now, a bit off subject. Um, why is that anti-lynching bill not passed yet?
You know what? Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? We 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 gonna do that for another show because there's a lot of laws that I'm looking at that haven't been passed yet, and they're look, these folks crazy.
Just refresh my memory. Wasn't that anti-lynching bill put together around the same time as the civil rights? Wasn't that? Yeah,
I
okay,
think
so that means George Floyd would have never happened. Tamir Rice would have never happened. All of these people that we heard of in the news would have never happened had it been passed along with the other civil rights bills in the 1960s. So you mean to tell me you had a literal law that kept George Floyd in the 1960s, but for some reason it never got passed. They passed everything else, but it didn't pass that one. And then you're wondering why there's so much strange fruit.
mhm.
It just. Oh, I got some help. I got some help. My husband is wonderful, just so you know. Uh, he always helped me in the most special kind of ways when you least expect it. He just pops up and just does these wonderful things. So I got the name of the lake. So it's Lake Lanier in Georgia.
You know
Lake
what? That name Lanier came to my mind, but I didn't want to come out and say it. I didn't want to be wrong.
I didn't want to be wrong either. See what I'm saying? He just pops in right on time. He's wonderful. So it's Lake Lanier in
Thank you,
Georgia.
cousin.
And I will absolutely thank him. Uh yes, we off camera. But
You so bad.
so Lake Lanier. Here's what's so funny about Lake Lanier. For the ones who like ghost stories and spooky stuff, please don't try this ignorant mess with Lake Lanier. There have been stories about this lake where folks went swimming and some invisible force pulled them down, and they talk about, oh, it's just an undercurrent in the lake. Uh, I go fishing. I'm familiar with undercurrent. That water looked pretty still. I don't what undercurrent. No. See, my black senses be tingling. My Afro senses be, be tingling and saying, don't get in that water. But, some people got to try it and then they find out the hard way. The
I'm
last broadcast where we talk about some folks don't believe, they think mommy's curses are just superstition, and just curses in the Bible is superstition, curses in any religious text is just superstition. And then you run across something like Lake Lanier in Georgia.
Mhm.
Okay, keep thinking it's a game. When you learn what really happened and what's really under that lake, and how that's not the only one, like literally hundreds like Lake Lanier
Mhm.
across America,
Right.
you're gonna not want to swim in every body of water real quick.
I ain't
It's
with that.
just
No.
that's why I fish on the bank. Sit on we will be like Otis Redding and sit on the dock of the bay, and we will fish there. We will not get in this water. No, we will not.
And see, that's like, and that's the thing, because like I said, a lot of people don't, they just don't understand, like you said, the things that blacks experience throughout the years is the reason why we sing the Black National Anthem. And it's funny because, okay, so I want to say it was maybe last year or the year before last, the National Football League gave the okay and allowed the Black National Anthem to be sung before the playing or the singing of the national anthem. And it had to be the MAGA nuts. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, the MAGA nuts, who are the only ones griping about that. But I can remember down there in little old Ackerman, Mississippi, where I'm from. I was in elementary school. I remember they used to play America the Beautiful as they were raising the flag up on the flagpole. Then, you know, someone would come in with the prayer, and after the person finished praying, the band plays the national anthem. Now, I don't know if any other high school did that in Mississippi, but I know we did. And I want to say maybe my junior high, when I got into junior high, they stopped playing America the Beautiful because the flag was already raised. So they just played the national anthem. And what I'm tripped out over is the fact that how these MAGA nuts want to gripe and complain about a anthem that is written for us that we only sing at the Super Bowl one time, and it's a possibility we only sing that anthem probably once a year, once every year.
Pretty
And
much once a year.
you're right. And we put it back in the back burner. We put it in the archives. We just close it up. It's not like we're trying to make the Black National Anthem the anthem of the United States. But
Right. That's called false equivalence.
exactly. Now, I can tell you right now, we have uh this event we go to every February. It's called the Strong Turner Alumni Association Soul Food Dinner at the campus of Arkansas State University. and they have the speakers, the soul food, the chitlins and cornbread and catfish and fried chicken and all that. Well, um, but before we even start the program, we'll sing the national anthem, and then we turn around and we will sing the Black National Anthem. And let me tell you, there's white folks there now. They know that anthem too. They've sung that anthem. Some of them kind of question how long you been singing this anthem. No, you just didn't learn it overnight.
No, you didn't.
You didn't learn that overnight. You've been singing this song. But you look at it when it says, lift every voice. Lift every voice. Sure, it's talking about us as, African Americans. But you can also look at it and say, lift every voice. Black voices, white voices, Latino voices, Native American voices, all those voices. But then you got these MAGA nuts just acting crazy.
No, they're called unseasoned. That's what's wrong with them. They're unseasoned. The ones that know the lift every voice and sing, they are seasoned. They are seasoned white people. They're okay.
And they can cook too.
I bet they can. I bet they got half the spice cabinet, and it reminds you of your grandma's house.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. For example, I got y'all know I love my clips, but I got to play this for y'all. I got to play this clip. You finna do that little Samuel L. Jackson stare on this one. Here's the clip, y'all.
The NFL's had in recent memory is, of course, the very divisive Black National Anthem. Like, look, there's only one national anthem, whether you like it or not, in this country, and everybody of all race and ethnicities falls under this national anthem. Plain and simple. Star Spangled Banner. That's right. I mean, look, it's for everybody, literally for everybody. And, well, let's just say as the NFL heads into a Super Bowl in which a lot of people are already talking about boycotting because there's suspicions of the league rigging games in favor of the Chiefs, literally to the point that the NFL Referees Association has to make a statement. Roger Goodell has to make a statement. And I don't even want to hear that there's not smoke somewhere, because there's no way the league comes out and literally addresses this if they aren't at least taking the fan response seriously, or they better be. They better be. So that leads us to tomorrow's Super Bowl. All right. Now, a lot of things go down in the Super Bowl, but it seems like every year this is one thing that Americans have overwhelmingly rejected. It's the Black National Anthem. Like, why are you still playing this before games? I have noticed, by the way, that it seems the NFL, and it's something John and I noticed the last couple of years, have made a point to put more space in the broadcast between the Black National Anthem and the actual only real national anthem. All right,
Watch this. Boy, sit your tail down somewhere.
He missed that part where it was created in the 1900s and is from America.
He missed
it. He missed that part of Yeah, okay. We gonna say unseasoned. We gonna say unseasoned because he missed that part in history. See, you can't have American history without talking about Black history because you just can't. It's just part of it. That's like taking out half of America simply because you didn't like it, but you needed that half in order for America to be what it is. 1619, people forgot about that. 1619, there was help in building America. Like a lot of the conveniences and comforts that America have started in, like early 1600s here on American soil. And no, it was not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It was not pretty. These new laws and amendments are necessary because we want to make peace. At least that's what it looks like. Someone wanted to make peace. Somebody, and oh, and to help, I want to help the public out. When I say seasoned white people, here's a little American history. Have you heard of the term white passing?
I heard of it being taught, well, spoken of off and on throughout my lifetime.
It takes a very, I want to say, very keen eye to nitpick when a white person isn't as white as they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. Due to something like DNA testing and people doing their ancestry that way, a lot of people are finding out that they are seasoned white people and didn't know it. And some of them are unseasoned and didn't know it. And some of them didn't know that seasoning was because of something that happened years ago that everybody kept quiet, and they were able to keep it quiet because of something called white passing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. When we start telling the truth about our family and about our history and about our past, that's when the real healing starts. You can't
Exactly.
ignore the past and ignore the hurt and think it's going away. I'm going to give an extreme analogy. Let's say somebody broke their leg. Ignoring the pain of a broken leg will not change the fact that it is a broken leg. It's still a
Right.
broken leg. And if
Exactly.
no amendments are made, if nothing is done, that broken leg becomes dangerous. There is no trust between people, citizens in America because of the past hurt in America. And
Mm-hmm.
no one's telling the truth about what actually happened in the past. And so you got people generations later still looking at each other sideways, still having beef from generations before because they're ignoring the broken leg. They don't want to fix it. They're too selfish to fix it. They don't care
Exactly.
to fix it. And the more selfish these people are, and when I say selfish, I'm talking about this weird mental Jedi trick where the fallacies just go galore and you pull out a false equivalence like there's no other anthem but this one, but we also have party rock anthem. Party rocking in the house tonight. It's also an anthem. There's a lot of anthems in America.
A lot of
Who says that has to be the one? Who's the reason it's the one is because somebody put it on the books to make it the one, and then somebody made it so that wasn't the only one.
mhm.
Years later, yes, it's no longer the only one.
Right.
Lift Every Voice and Sing is just as America as the first anthem. It may be the first anthem, but it may not be the last if we keep on looking and trying to fix that broken leg.
Exactly.
For the ones that want to fix the broken leg. Now, if you don't want to fix the broken leg, you're unseasoned, and that's just my opinion.
That's true. You know, I had a college professor. Matter of fact, he's a tuba instructor at Arkansas State University. He and I, we were talking about during the time I was going to ASU, and we was talking about the national anthem. He said, "Do you know that there are only certain keys in music you can play the national anthem? B flat is the yeah, we know about that one, but then you got in the key of A flat. I think he said the key of I want to say he said the key of C,
Oh,
maybe
mercy.
yeah.
No, why see?
At all them sharp notes.
I am so no. Oh my gosh, no. B flat is comfortable. We're okay with comfortable. B
Right.
flat is always comfortable. A flat, that's
It's
interesting.
I played it in A flat before and it's low. Like the song is very, very, very low. You can't hear the band playing the national anthem in that key. That's why I've always said whenever I start directing bands, it will be the key of B flat. Now, also, I do want to write, if there's not it's probably one now, uh, an arrangement of the Black National Anthem. And our prestigious HBCU bands have probably already written a couple of arrangements, probably changed around a little bit to
Of
fit
course,
people,
of course.
you know. But yeah, I mean that's what he told me about the the national anthem. Um, and I was like, wow. And I was gonna bring the subject about the the Black National Anthem, but I forgot who he was, and I said, well, I'm not gonna bring that up to him because it probably be a whole different story. But so yeah, and uh, this man that was talking on this the clip, you know, they don't understand. They don't understand the reason why. A lot of people don't understand the reason why we sing the Black National Anthem. That's like, for example, the song Precious Lord, written by Dr. Thomas A. Dorsey, who wrote hundreds of hymns that were printed in the Baptist hymn book and the Methodist hymn book. Uh, you do know that song there, the reason why he written that, and I don't want to get it all backwards, but he wrote that because he had lost his first wife, I believe, and his firstborn son. He was going through a time of, you know,
That's tragedy.
right, a time of sorrow. And basically, I guess he was just writing words down. And I guess the words, take my hand, precious Lord, came into his head. And then all of a sudden, bam, it's a song. These songs that these these well-known black musicians, well, actually, let's back up with the Black National Anthem. A lot of folks don't know it was actually a poem.
There,
It's
yes.
it
I had
started off,
I I had to go and look myself. I had to make sure.
yeah, it started off as a poem, but then his brother uh came in and wrote the music to it, which he turned it into, the what it is today. And the NAACP adopted that song as the national anthem for black people.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's a lot.
It really is. You can't talk about American history without talking about Black history because Black people were there too.
Exactly.
And it's not to say nobody else was there, but it's February, and so the topic is about Black,
Exactly.
and we're
Exactly.
just gonna stay on topic. Not saying everybody else wasn't there. Yes, you were absolutely there, but the topic is just not about other people right now.
Right. That's like
So,
you.
right. So, it's necessary to commemorate and to help us to remember where we came from. It's to also to encourage. It's because if you don't have these types of songs, you won't remember. You won't ask the question why. Precious Lord, take my hand. Nobody bothered. I mean, if you hear the song, you're gonna ask why. What's Amazing Grace? People are gonna ask why. Why this song? They're gonna ask because of the music. Where did it come from? Who sang it and why? What was going on? Inquiring minds that really care would like to know. It's a lot. It's a lot to it. There's a lot of hidden history behind a lot of the music that people don't think about. People are
Hey,
quick to talk about Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, but they forget why it had to be sung, why people had to sing the song in the first place.
swing low, sweet chariot. Look, I
I
can't sing.
remember, right, I remember learning Follow the Drinking Gore when I was in like the third grade
Mm,
in public school. Follow the Drinking Gore. And
mm.
what that is.
You know
People
what?
just, you know,
Right. I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna mess with your mind a little bit. Did you know? Now, my pastor talked about Amazing Grace on yesterday during his message, and you know, John Newton. He was a slave owner who wrote that song.
right.
But I found out later, after finding out John Newton wrote the song, the tune of the song, it was based off of slaves on the ship humming what we know as the pentatonic scale. The notes came from the pentatonic scale. And
What?
right, I didn't know this until this guy, this black guy, he's a pianist, but he's also I want to say he worked at some university, you know, in the music department. And he was on TBN and he was featured on the Gaither Gospel Hour, something like that. And he did some research on it, and he said that the notes that the slaves were humming on the uh, the ship was from the pentatonic scale. Because we know the pentatonic scale is only what?
I just,
5 notes.
I'm
That's
be honest.
why
I'm be honest. It's been a minute since I played. I just listen now.
that's that. And see, that's why when I listen, and it's not only lift every voice. I was telling my wife last night, and believe it or not, I had hymn songs, like songs from the hymn book, from the Baptist hymn book, to the Methodist hymn book, just ringing in my head. Uh, we're climbing Jacob's ladder. Um, let us break bread together. That's an African American spiritual. I didn't know that. Uh, near the cross. All of these all of these songs that these black musicians, or I'm gonna say black artists, excuse me, wrote, they had a meaning behind it. But when you got people like that Yahoo that I played a while ago talking about you don't understand it. That's the reason why you don't. First of all, they don't want to understand it.
No, it's unfortunate, and that's what I mean by unseasoned. They don't want to do the work to heal the broken leg, the past hurt, so that people can actually move forward.
Look
There
here.
basically there was an offense made, and because those offenses were not remedied, that's why we're still having issues.
Mhm.
There was a lot of I'm not saying cater to the point where it's just ridiculous. What I'm saying is equal rights under the law as it should have been from the very beginning.
Mhm.
Simply putting one people having all the rights and another having little to no rights whatsoever, you're going to create a situation where there will be issues. It has always been that way. If anybody takes the time to look at world civilization and world history, civilizations from around the world, anytime there is a power struggle like this, because that's what it is, it's a power struggle where one class gets all the rights and another class does not. It doesn't matter the reason, just that other group just doesn't have the same rights as everybody else. You're going to create a situation where there's going to be friction
Mhm.
when you could have avoided the friction in the first place and just made equal rights from the very beginning.
Exactly. And I agree with you on that. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. Because if they'd have did it like you said, right then and there, it wouldn't be no issues. But now they're mad at the fact because of you know all the progress that we're because really they really wasn't banking on blacks, excelling the way we have been over the years. I mean, you look at it. We just had years ago, and people say, well, although his mom was white, but we consider him as black. That's Barack Obama. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think that we would ever got a black president. To be honest with you,
That movie Head of State with what's his name?
what's his name? Chris Rock. Chris Rock.
Yes, Chris Rock. Chris Rock on Head of State. It was supposed to be either a satire. It was supposed to be. I think it's either supposed to be yeah. It's supposed to be like some sort of satire. They're supposed to be making fun of the novel idea of a black president, only for it to happen, and we're all shocked, like wow. And even when he was on the campaign trail, that movie was brought up, and it's kind of, and I hate to say it, but he kind of sort of did what the movie said. He did like the movie without all the extra ridiculousness. But
Right.
yes, he catered to all votes as president candidates do.
Mhm. That's
I
right.
mean, that's
Cause I'm
that's
not.
just.
Cause
I mean, the reality is when you are president of America, you're president of all of America. You don't get to pick and choose which part of America. You are the president of all of America, and you have a job to do.
that's right.
Regardless, that you just have a job to do, and it's just a good idea to just do your elected job.
That's right. And it's kind of funny. And I'm thinking back on it. I had always said, Bill Clinton was going to be as close of a black president we get because he could play a saxophone.
Oh my, I heard that, and I'm gonna be honest, I was too young to truly understand and appreciate that time period. But I recall being little. Oh gosh, that was like in the 97. You goodness, I don't want to say too much, but I, I was young enough to hear my parents talk about it. And my parents literally said those words. He's as close as we're going to get to a black president. And I was kind of bewildered by that. It's like, you mean to tell me all it takes to be black is for him to play a saxophone? There's a lot of people that play saxophone. I thought that was a pretty low bar, but that was just my opinion as a child. And even as an adult, I still
Right.
kind of believe that, because after I got older and learned a little bit more about his history and his track record, I'm like, ooh wee, black people, please do better. If a saxophone is your standard, please do better. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no, try. I'm not even gonna try to be nice. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it and tell the truth. Why? Why would anybody who has endured so much, who can just feel the words of the song lift every voice, like you can feel the words, why will you be comfortable with the standard of somebody being considered black being someone playing a saxophone? If that's the case, Kenny G is black, and he can definitely play a saxophone. Oh, he can play a saxophone better than Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
If that's your standard, please, black people, do better. I think that's kind of the reason why we're having such slow progress, because we have this weird understanding of what should and should not be a standard amongst just us.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be real, due to America's history, people are just culturally more comfortable with those who think and look like themselves. And it's due to America's prejudice, the historic prejudice in America. You had Chinatown, Little Italy, and Little Africa, and all these other little towns, little bits of other countries, because America was so prejudiced and did not write equal laws so that such things did not have to happen. There would not be a need for Little Italy. There would not have been a necessary Jewish corner. There would never have been a need for these little niche groups had there been equal laws to begin with. And those
Exactly.
laws been equally enforced. It's not enough to have them on the books. They have to be equally enforced regardless of how a person looks or feels.
Mm-hmm.
If I stole a candy bar from the store, I'm supposed to get the same punishment as somebody else who doesn't look like me. I'm not even going to name who it is. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. If we commit the same crime, we should get the same punishment, and that's just not the case statistically. There is a crime database that people can look at to understand the demographics of who actually commits the most crime. And you can get it directly from the FBI. It's a public database. Anybody can look at it. Which demographic commits the most crime? Now, here's the thing about statistics. They can easily be skewed. And for people who are untrained in reading statistics and these graphs and charts, they just look like pretty colors on the screen. But for the ones who know a little bit about statistics, you understand that there are circumstances that are not on the graph that makes these numbers look the way they do. But the fact remains, due to laws being not equally enforced, due to people finding creative ways of finding loopholes to jump over things that are clearly established,
Mm-hmm.
we have this huge disparity. It's just the reality of it. There's this huge disparity, and every time people, look the other way, just you create this issue where there's again more friction, because there is no equal standard, no equal punishment, no equal law, because you're not being fair.
Right.
And
And
uh,
it's true.
and I'm gonna say it again. Lift Every Voice and Sing is just as American as is the national anthem. It's just they both came from America.
And it needs to be that way. It should be that way. It's just crazy. But look here, we're gonna come back. We're gonna take a break right here. We're gonna pay some bills, and when we come back, we're gonna continue this conversation, and we're gonna continue some more stuff. Because y'all, I'm telling y'all, this right here, this is some stuff that we need to hear some enlightenment. Y'all need to be enlightened on this stuff because this is the stuff that you don't hear each day. So when we come back from this break, we're going to talk more about the national anthem and other things after this. So y'all sit tight. All right, we are back. We are back, continuing our conversation on the Black National Anthem. I was thinking about something during the break that it happened some years back. Um, Actually, when I first learned of the Black National Anthem, I was maybe ninth grade, I believe, and I was at that time I was going to my dad's church because my dad was United Methodist, and we I was asked to be a part of the Black History program there, and I played Martin Luther King, of course. So you know I had some fun with that.
Oh mercy! I can only imagine.
Because y'all know how I was at East Central.
Oh my goodness!
So, so what happened? They introduced the song. Well, we did "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," but we did like a little another arrangement to it that was kind of kiddie like and fun, but it was still on the gospel side to where, you know, the old folk get up and start shouting away, hallelujah and all that.
Oh no, for real?
Yeah. And so they introduced the song, Lift Every Voice. And I didn't know a thing about it. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know the song even exists. This was in the year of 1998.
I can't say anything because I didn't know anything about it either in 1998. But I learned it afterwards.
Mhm.
I
And
learned it afterwards.
see, and I went home and told my mom about it. She said, you know, that's what we sing every Black History Month. You know, lift every voice, sing, da, 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 da. Even she knew the song. And it was that one part that we always had trouble with, you know, that sing a song, da 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 da. We could not get that.
It's
We
so low. It's the octave. It just could not be helped. It cannot be helped.
we
Ooh,
it
you'd
we
have to do some kind of modulation or for that one,
right. And believe it
especially
or
for young. I'm sorry, especially for young, undeveloped voices. Yes.
oh yeah, because I'm telling you right now, our voices was not developed to sing
No.
that. And that's when I actually found out, you know, that, you know, we have our own anthem, you know, this and that. And I love it. I love it. I mean, although we don't sing the whole thing because it's like three stanzas of it. Um, but it's just, you know, hearing those voices come together and just singing. I mean, just singing that anthem. Um, and you know, like I said before the show even started, you know, um, we need to be singing this song every day because
I agree.
like
Because new generation don't even know about it. They don't even know about, that they don't know that there's three stanzas.
mm-mm, mm-mm. And you know, and then going back to this too, you know, all the Afro American spirituals that's printed in the hymnals, the Methodist and Baptist hymnals, including the Kojic hymnal. 'Cause I just recently found out years ago they got one. But a lot of kids don't know anything about the Afro American spirituals in those hymnals.
Why? Even
They
I knew about. Well, my grandparents and things. They were very old fashioned. I had no choice. So I remember songs that nobody's supposed to remember, but that's due to upbringing and passing on culture.
mhm,
Passing on culture. So you're telling me this new kids on the block, um, what's that song? Ooh, sweeping through. That's
by
the
the
song.
Carolina.
Let me see. It's. I'm be honest. It's an old song. I don't even know where it came from, but it's a song that I know my grandfather's generation would sing. So, I'll be sweeping through the city where my captain has gone on before, and when I reach to the other side, I won't come back no more.
Mhm,
It's an old song that you don't hear no more. But
mhm.
I don't even know if it came from a hymn book. I just knew it was a song that people would sing. And it was, it's Sending Up Timber.
Oh
I don't
man,
think people remember that one either. Sending Up Timber.
I and a lot of people don't even know the meaning behind that. Sending up my timber, meaning that you're building your mansion in heaven.
Best way to send up timber is do right by people, and that means everybody, because you don't know who you dealing with.
That's right. That's
And
right.
you really, you don't know who you dealing with. That's why it's best to be good to everybody.
That's right. That's right. Now, let's get on this subject about these HBCUs. Now, there's been, and I don't know why, because now, uh, they're currently wanting to cut funding from HBCUs, meaning that if they cut the funding, then most likely our HBCUs will be no more, and then we have to go to the predominantly white institutions. But a lot of people don't know the actual reason to why HBCUs were founded in the first place. I can go ahead and tell them right off the bat because we were not allowed to attend predominantly white institutions. But it goes further than that. Um, you know, I was watching the video earlier, and this guy was explaining, you know, the slaves who were free, well, they didn't have no means of, getting adequate education. So they pulled together and came up with these universities, which they were small universities then, and they taught blacks, you know, to read, write, do other things, that universities do. And then all of a sudden, we noticed over the years that we started seeing universities like popping up like weeds all over. And I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Howard.
Howard is an HBCU, yes.
Yeah. They're the oldest HBCU, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, and then you got the other ones like you know
Morehouse and Spelman.
Morehouse and Spelman, Jackson State. We know about J State, Alcorn, Mississippi
Uh,
Valley, Tupelo,
Tuskegee University.
Tuskegee, um, Bethune Cookman, Clark Atlanta, all these HBCUs. And the MAGA nuts are clowning because they're asking the question of why do we have all these HBCUs? We don't need all these HBCUs. We can't take care of all of them. Well, it's because y'all made it to where that blacks could not attend predominantly white universities. That's the reason why we founded our own colleges.
Okay, someone should take the time to go on the internet and look up the governor that stopped the student from attending his first day of school. I think it's which one was it? Ole Miss?
Ole Miss.
It was Ole Miss. The governor, the literal governor. There's a picture of him standing at the door of Ole Miss to block a student from entering the doors simply
Mhm.
because he was black. Anytime a sitting governor would go so far as to stand there to bar a single black student from entering the doors simply because he was black, yes, there is clear justification for having an HBCU. And what I find ironic is if the regular schools, the predominantly white schools, were so good, how come they missed that part?
Hmm.
You still have to study history in a university. You got to do that. So while studying history in your predominantly white school, you somehow missed the part where the sitting governor stood in front of the doors of Ole Miss to prevent a student from entering its doors simply because of the color of his skin, to the point the federal government had to send the literal National Guard just so he can go to school. Anytime you have to send the literal army to enforce a law for education, yes, you have justification for an HBCU. I find it funny that this selective history is being taught in these predominantly white schools. That would explain why people don't see the need, because they just didn't know. And you can't say the information is not available. The internet is an ocean of information, free and open to the public. Anybody could look up anything they want at any time.
Right. That's right.
It's necessary because there was a culture that was antagonistic to the progress of black people. And the culture that is antagonistic to the progress of black people is still here. And until it is done away with, it will still be an issue. This friction that we're having is, again, back to the broken leg. There was an offense made. There was offenses committed to this very day that still have not been remedied. I'm going back to the anti-lynching bill now. Had that bill been passed in the beginning, had those other bills been passed from the beginning, had all those civil rights bills been passed, because all of them were not passed in the 1960s. Had they all been passed, we would have made progress a lot faster. As far as, again, there would have never been a need for a civil rights had the rights of all citizens been equal from the very beginning.
Mhm.
Simply failing to do something that basic is the reason why there's so much friction. The unseasoned person in the clip that you showed before, talking about no need for a Black National Anthem, that unseasoned person clearly missed a section of history. And I don't know if it was done on purpose or it was just the school he went to. But
Mhm.
whatever the case may be, the internet is free and open to the public. The fact that a sitting governor barred a black student from entering the doors of Ole Miss simply because of his color is the literal reason why HBCUs are necessary.
Exactly.
Because it's only getting worse. It's getting worse. Anytime you start erasing moments in history, you're doomed to repeat it. It's
And that's
going to
what.
happen again
And
because
that's what.
people are erasing little moments like this in history.
Mhm. Did you see where Linda McMahon, Vince McMahon's wife, the newly appointed Secretary of Education, finally admitted that she's getting ready to dismantle Department of Education. Now I saw this on well, what's that senator's name? Democratic Senator, white lady. What is her name? Oh God, what is her name? But I saw it on her Facebook page, and she she made the announcement, which I already knew they wanted to do anyway. And then going back to like maybe a year or two ago, well, last year really, you remember they was talking about in Mississippi when that state senator passed that legislation talking about closing down um, 8 universities in Mississippi. But
Wait, I
then,
missed that one.
oh, mm,
Wait,
yeah,
I missed that one. Wait, why they closing? First of all, Mississippi has a literacy problem, and then you're gonna close universities.
right. And this is what they did. They put because I already knew they was gunning after the HBCUs anyway. It was gunning after Jackson State. It was gunning after Valley, Alcorn. I want to say Tougaloo is a HBCU, but they was gunning after those schools. But to kind of dress it up, they had to add Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Delta State, and MUW into that mix.
Knowing good well they're not going to close those schools.
Exactly. So when I read, because I got the bill somewhere here, but when I read the bill, I was like, nah, y'all want to close those black colleges. And they got and then, and then the man said that if they closed them, then they was going to use the buildings for other purposes and stuff. Now, this is the guy, his name was Senator Polk. And I got to thinking, this man name sounds familiar. Guess what? He owns a company in Mississippi, Polk Farms.
What? Wait a minute. Why? Wait a minute. What vested interest does he have in closing down these schools? If he
because I think what it was, he wanted to use some of those. Well, one, he's like some of the other MAGA nuts. They're tired of the U.S. Department of Education, forking in money to give to the HBCU, which they don't realize HBCU, they don't have many donors. A lot of people don't donate to HBCU. Like the
no, they don't. No,
the white colleges can't do that. The black colleges can't do that, but they do have donors, but they don't have enough of it. So that's one. Two, someone said something about that he wanted to expand his business, his company throughout Mississippi. So he was eyeing those schools to close down so he can make like an expansion to his company, to wherever schools they're gonna close. And I'm thinking to myself, come on now, you talking about closing down Jackson State? Who? Mississippi, y'all forgot. They put y'all on the map last year at the Super Bowl where Jackson State watched their halftime.
That is very true. Yes, they did.
Don't think, and I'm gonna say this, Valley State, y'all was not the one that put Mississippi on the map when y'all went to that doggone parade over there and marched with that darn convicted felon in chief. Y'all didn't do that. It was Jackson State. As a matter of fact, I can say this here too. Jackson State was also, I think in 1990, they marched in the Soul Train Music Awards. There was a featured group, an opening group. It was them. So
that sounds. I'm not good with the years, but yes, that sounds right.
Because I'm sorry, and I'm not knocking the other HBCUs in Mississippi, but I'm just saying, Jackson State. What did it look like? Mississippi State, the famous Maroon Band, going to the BET Award or the performing the Super Bowl halftime.
Essence Festival. Mississippi State at the Essence Festival. I'm sorry. Oh, here's something people don't understand about HBCUs. First of all, HBCU stands for Historically Black College, and I have to acknowledge, I have to acknowledge that because there are people who honestly are not aware of the acronym. If you have people who don't understand the need for historically black colleges, they probably don't understand the acronym either.
Mhm.
Here's what people don't understand about these type of schools. Due to laws against discrimination, you don't have to be black to go to an HBCU. You don't have to be black to go to, I'm going to say it again. You don't have to be black to go to an HBCU because of laws against discrimination. People, for some reason, think that because it is a historically black college that is meant for black people only, it was started by black people for black people due to segregation, but it did not stay only for, it's meant for black people because of how it started, but it is more accessible to more people if they so choose to go. Is about choice. You have
Exactly.
the option of going if you want to. No one says you have to. You have the option of going. So removing the option of going to an HBCU is technically discrimination
Mhm.
because you had the option of this predominantly white school versus this HBCU, and you always had the choice. You've had the choice because of the new laws that were put in place to prevent discrimination. Okay, so I can't hammer this enough. Just because it's historically black college does not mean that you have to be black to attend. You don't
Exactly.
have to be white to attend the historically white colleges. There are plenty of black people and a number of other people who go to historically white colleges. A lot of people go to white colleges. There's nothing weird about that, but for some reason they all logic gets turned off and you think it's racist to have an HBCU. It's not racist to have a school to yourself, given that the reason behind it was racist to begin with.
Mhm.
You
Just
didn't
like
want to teach us, so now that we got our own thing, now you say it's racist.
right, and that goes to our next point of why do we say Black Lives Matter? That's some what we just talked about tonight sums it up. Reason why we say Black Lives Matter. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. Yes, all lives matter, but before all lives matter, Black lives have to matter too. I can't. You know what? When that George Floyd situation happened, and when I tell you people cut it up because they were doing hashtag Black Lives Matter on social media, them folks cut it up. They act like that we put a hex on social media. Them folks went nuts, and they wasn't now. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of whites did understand, and some of them still understand the black struggle. But it's those out there who don't. It's like they they, they don't want black people to have a voice in anything. They just want to sit up there and let things be. No, it don't work that way. It does not work that way.
No, it's I want to be comfortable. That's all it is. I want to be comfortable without somebody bringing up the one thing that we don't want to talk about. It's about just wanting to be comfortable and and shut up talking about it. I just want to be comfortable and close my eyes and put my head in the sand and pretend like the past never happened. I didn't do it. And my family didn't do it. So why should I have to suffer for something that me and my family didn't do? But yet you benefit from it. You benefit from the blood, sweat, and tears of other people, whether you believe it or not. The fact that the law is skewed in favor of a particular demographic is a clear indication of who really is prioritized. The laws and how they are applied clearly shows who is being prioritized. Judges who are unethical will simply judge based upon how they feel instead of just being impartial, and that's wrong.
Right. And and I'd say it's 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 amazing. It's amazing, and you know, when you bring that up, a lot of them don't. They claim they want Americans to come together. They want Americans to come together, but they don't want to like really kumbaya with some of us because they think we, you know, whine, which we don't whine. We just bring awareness. We bring awareness to what, you know, our people have gone through, what they have gone through in the past, and what they're going through now.